All right, guys, check it out. Palantir stock is up on the day, which is pretty nuts considering the entire market is down over 1% pretty much, and the VIX is up over 14%. And yeah, Palantir is up, even though you would think maybe today it'd be down like 2, 3, 4, 5%. Nope, it's up about 13 cents, not much, but it's holding the mid 150s pretty steady right now, which is signaling potentially a bottom is being put in, or maybe the bottom has already been put in. So I want to break down these charts with you guys, go over my thoughts, what I'm looking to do, and we'll go over the indexes as well, maybe some other stocks later in the video. So run the likes up, feel free to subscribe, do all that good stuff, guys. Join the email stock newsletter, check out my Patreon. All those links are down below. And now let's dive into it. So look, Palantir did slip a lot of the pre-market, pretty much all the pre-market. So it's not like it's been breaking out, all day necessarily, because in the pre-market it was downtrending. Look, we closed at $157 a share on Friday, and we got down all the way to $150 by open. So from close to open today, we were down about 4%. Then we opened up at about $150 a share, and we broke out essentially from that point. So we saw a big sell-off in the pre-market, and then in the first, hour, 2 hours of trading, we essentially got back all the losses. We recovered all the losses there, went from 150 to 158, and now we're seeing a bit of resistance at 158. You could argue maybe a double top is being put in here on the intraday, but we're still looking very good considering the fact that we're up on the day. We're at 156. We're still up a good chunk, $5, $6 from where we were this morning. I would consider that a W in the books, in my books. Again, considering the type of day we're seeing today in, the beginning of September, which you guys know at this point is historically a bad month. It's the worst month for stocks. So this is what we're noticing in the short term, a little bit of a double top right now when I'm filming, and we're about 20 minutes away from power hour, so the day's slowly wrapping up here, and you can see on the 1 hour chart, on the 30-minute chart, we've been holding steady. Support's been holding steady at $150 a share, and the fact that, we're maintaining that point today in the midst of a red day, we've held that for, a good almost 2 weeks now, that leads me to believe a bottom is being put in. And pay attention, because if the overall market slips even more, let's say QQQ goes down another 1-2%, if SPY goes down a little bit more, if that happens and Palantir stays put in the 150s, that would be an even stronger signal that this could be the bottom, but we have to wait for the confirmation. We're not necessarily getting it quite yet. And by confirmation, I mean confirmation of the breakout. We're not seeing it yet, but we have to wait for it. And we're definitely getting consolidation. There's no denying that, no debating that. We're definitely consolidating in the mid low 150s. Now we just have to wait for the full on breakout, which, guys, don't get too excited yet, because on the 4 hour chart, we still have a head and shoulders. It is clear as day. We still have a death cross. You guys are seeing that. So look, we have the left shoulder right here, the head's right here, the right shoulder's right here. If I get the neck tool, or not the neck tool out, the freaking trend line out. What am I saying here, guys? Let me draw the neckline. It's at about $62 a share. So we're consolidating. It's looking good. But keep in mind, we still have these, patterns that we have to pay attention to, with one of them being this head and shoulders, another one being, excuse me, guys, this wedge right here. You guys are noticing higher lows and lower highs being made at the same time. So let me say this. If Palantir is able to get upside or momentum, let's say, through $160, through $162 to $3, preferably $165, that would be a spot where we'd break out, in my opinion, considering that's the neckline of the Head and Shoulders at about 162, and 165 is the 180 moving average resistance here on the 4-hour chart. And another spot worth watching is this 30-minute chart where we see clear resistance at 162. As we've been consolidating for a good 2 weeks, the stock has failed to break 162. So if we're able to get out of there, guys, whether it's later this week, next week, a month from now, if we're able to get out of there, this could really start to break out there. And again, pay attention to that wedge that we talked about. That is very important as well for monitoring the breakout, identifying it, and so forth. So with that being said, I'm going to put my alerts. I'll set some alerts right now. Might as well do one at 160. Mark is at or above. I'll do another one at $165. Let's do that. And yeah, I'll keep an eye on it, and we'll see where we go from this point, guys. If we're able to break out of there, that would be ideal for the bulls, but we're not there yet. Hence the alerts. And we need some patience, right? Don't you have to be patient all the time with stocks? Pretty much you do, guys. You do. So let's now go over these indexes, which we covered them earlier. No need to dive too deep into this, but just a refresher here. S&P's down 1.25%. We're trading right around the bottom of this channel on the 4-hour chart. You guys see if I zoom in, pretty clear to see. So as long as this holds, the bulls, I would say, are in charge. But the second we slip through 635, 630, we break this channel, that would be bad. That would be bad in the short term, technically speaking, but we're not there yet. But that's something I'm watching. And on QQQ, I'm keeping an eye on this Head and Shoulders. You guys see it here, pretty much the same thing as Palantir, right? You're seeing that Head and Shoulders. QQQ is the same exact thing. What's going to happen here, guys? We're already under these moving averages. The Head and Shoulders is already starting to play out. If this breaks through the lows from about, a week, 2 weeks ago, 20th of August, if we fall through, let's say 560, this could slip even further. 550, 552, that's where we were in the beginning of August. And if that were to break, guys, if this support were to break, who knows where it could go. But keep in mind, bears are still in charge in the short term. Based on what we're seeing here, keep that in mind, and there could be more downside. So with that being said, I might as well set an alert at $60 per share on QQQ. Mark is at or below. And we'll monitor that, of course, for the rest of today and, for the rest of this week. So make sure to subscribe, by the way, guys, because we're going to do a lot more content. We do multiple videos a week, long form, short form. So make sure you guys hit that subscribe button, follow along for more. I appreciate you all for tuning in. And in terms of stocks, other stocks, look, you name it, everything's down. From big tech, we have Meta down 1%. Nvidia's down about 2.6%. Now it's actually falling through this channel on the 4-hour chart. We're now trading at about a month and a half low on Nvidia. Stocks like AMD, which ripped like crazy all the way to 186, this thing is slipping, which I took profits on this about a month and a half ago. Glad I did that. Not all the profits, but I nibbled, or not nibbled, but you guys get the point. Took some off the table, right, on AMD. And this is why, because these stocks were getting ridiculous. I didn't sell any Nvidia. That I'm still holding on tight. But stocks like AMD I trimmed. You guys know CrowdStrike I sold out completely about a month and a half ago. When it got to like 515, it was an insane run at that point. So don't be scared to lock in profits. I'm not saying to sell everything out of your portfolio, but when you're sensing stocks are a bit hot, a little too high in the short term, don't be scared to lock in some gains. If you want, not financial advice. Another one that I was about to lock in profits on a little bit was Palantir. Didn't do it. You guys, we've covered that many times. I was going to in the 180s, but I didn't. I don't regret it either. I'm cool. I locked in profits a little bit in the 120s back in February, and I've held every share since that point. So I'm cool with holding on to what I have now, but I'm just going through kind of like my thought process. I was about to sell out of some Palantir, didn't do it, decided against it. But the point is here, guys, when you're looking at your portfolio, you got to realize locking in profits on certain stocks, especially if you're overweight or if you have too much in one stock and you're up a lot and the market's hot, don't be scared to lock in a little profit, and I'll leave you guys with that on that note. So let me know your thoughts in the comments. Join the email stock newsletter, guys. It's free. Check out my Patreon as well if you guys want to keep up with what I'm doing in my portfolio, stocks I'm buying, updates every single week. That is linked down below. I'll see you guys on the inside. And with that being said, cheers. I'll catch you in the next video.